So here we get, with the very movement of dedication, a simple formula which can be used again and again in meditation, in exercises, while washing up, while driving. And the formula is to take a step back, into the one that's able to dedicate. It's a formula in which we are able to step back into the one out of which arises a male form or a female form, and to bless it. As a form, just a form. The one which is able to dedicate itself is more at source, more powerful than the self which is dedicated. Firstly, this is the one which has a sense of the self, the form of the self. Without having a sense of self, it wouldn't have what to dedicate. The one which is aware of a form of self arising out of itself is the one that's able to bless it and let it expand, let it be free, let it be part of the whole. Let it exist. In the precise form in which it emerges, transforming perfectly in the way that it is transforming. Manifesting perfectly as it is manifesting, to allow it. And we're calling it, but it's not really it. It's more of a, if you try and look for it, we don't find it. It's more of a becoming, a constant flow of sensing. So what is sensing? When we really sense something, even from the subtlest layers of sensing our being here, what we're doing is allowing sensation, opening, sensing. And the moment we are allowing this sensing, if we try and grasp it or hold it, then it changes. The sensing, in one sense, is lost, and what we will then be sensing is the energy of grasping or holding. Which also is sensing. And sensing is opening, allowing. If, in opening the senses to the sounds, to the temperature, to the body, if we reject and we close, we push away what we don't want to sense, then we sense the energy of pushing away. The movement of closing is also sensed. So this one which senses, is it private? Is it a private one, separate? Is this one that can dedicate or let go? This one that can allow or reject, open or close? Is this one that can feel itself or another self or the temperature in the room? It's interesting to look if this one is our private one, if it's separate. And if it's separate, where is it separated? Where does it begin? And where does it end? Where is the separation? And if we find a place where there is the separation, where the private one ends and the rest begins, then it's the one that found that separation and can see and feel the end of the private, the inner world, and the beginning of the outside world, is the one that sees it. Both sides of the border. Is it separate? When we are sitting down and having a conversation with another person, with our partner or with a friend, or with somebody in the street or at work, a conversation tends to happen that one side speaks and then the other side responds and says something, and then the first side responds to that and says something. And this is the dance of a conversation between two separate persons. At the same time, the speaking of both sides and the answering and the whole conversation is heard by both people. As it happens. When I am speaking, I hear myself speaking at precisely the same moment that you hear me speaking. There is an instant unity in the receptivity of the listening, of the hearing. When you are speaking, you hear your own voice at precisely, perfectly the same moment as the other people hear your voice. And in the hearing of the voice, there is an unbroken unity. Just within listening or hearing any kind of conversation or sound, there is no separation. So it's interesting to look if the one that listens that maybe we thought was separate is private. And who is it? Who is this one that hears the sounds inside the room. Even the thoughts inside the mind. Who is this one that hears the traffic outside in the town? Does this one have an end? Is it caught inside time? Does it have a beginning and an end?